In this episode, we're going to tee up a two-part series all about how to tame your biggest dragon. When it comes to taming a dragon in your life, there's certain things that you must understand and know. And also, first and foremost, you got to know what is your biggest dragon that would have the biggest impact for you to tame. So we're going to tee that up in this episode, but we're going to get into a whole lot more of this conversation in a part two. So stay tuned.
I'm Adam Kadu, and it's time to master the art of real heart alignment, where you live, work, and play from your personal power as energy aligns, your gifts flow, and life simply works. These life-changing conversations are designed to help you to see what you're not seeing, hear what you're not hearing, and to be who you're not being, as the world needs more heart-centered leaders now more than ever. Are you ready to say no to living a half-hearted life and say yes instead to boldly living from a place of real heart alignment? Welcome to the Adam Kadu podcast.
Yo, welcome back to the Adam Kadu podcast. It is now 11:53 p.m. at night. My wife and I are getting ready to head out of town tomorrow. She has a surgery in 2 days, so she has to do some preps and stuff. So we're going to head up to the city. And I wanted to stay consistent with this podcast because each and every week in 2024, we've had a podcast come out. I'm not quite sure how many I got last year in 2023, but I would maybe think 10. Not a ton. 52 weeks in the year, you got 10 done. Not a great batting average, if you will. But in this conversation today, we're going to talk about taming your dragon. And when it comes to taming your dragon, as I mentioned in the intro, there's a few things that you must know, you must understand. But in this episode, I would love to simply invite and start the conversation so that way you can come more prepared to part two. Because when you can know in your heart that the dragon that you are approaching, the dragon that you are taming, and I'm not going to say slay a dragon, right? Because I'm not into killing things, but we can tame with our power, right? And so when you can greatly understand which dragon or which habit or which pattern of behavior is causing the most strife, the most trouble, the most pain in your life, why not approach it head on? And a lot of times we hem and we haw and we're working on this and we're working on that, these surface level things. And we've got to do that sometimes to clear the muck and the mud out of the way so we can actually see. But until you approach the dragon that's causing the most uncomfortable just messiness in your life, and I'm all cool with being uncomfortable, but when it comes to a pattern or habit that's getting in your way and causing other patterns in your habits to get in your way even more, instead of messing around, let's go to it. Let's get into it. And so this conversation was one that started kind of coming in my mind years and years and years ago when I actually was overweight. I was ADHD crazy, like I literally couldn't focus for a second. I was depressed, in a mess, stressed, put to the test, just in a bad place. And little by little, I was trying to do all these different things and work on all these different habits and things of that nature. But it wasn't until I took a big step forward that life began to work. And if you think of this as like a domino, right? This domino effect. In order to knock down all of the dominoes, you must first start with that main primary domino. And so there's always going to be this domino habit, if you will. And this conversation is slightly different than just habits, right? Because sometimes it's a fear or something that you're avoiding that's your dragon. And it's not necessarily just a habit, but something that is just stuck within you. And so back to the example about the habit though, I was eating poor. I was sleeping poor, wasn't drinking enough water. I was, just in my mind and just beating myself up day after day after day. Why can't I break through? Why can't I do this? What's wrong with me? So much. And I identified, look, the biggest thing that I can do for myself right now is to get freaking moving. So then it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I just start running again? Do I just start playing basketball again? Do I, just this, or I was actually trying to eat better and I was having a hell of a time there. I was trying to sleep better so I could function better during the day and make better decisions, but I couldn't crack that code either. And it wasn't until I got my physical body, my energy in motion that things clicked, things started to work. And I had to keep it simple on myself. I had to break it down to the finite point in order to get motion. And for me, that one simple action that I identified that I knew was going to move the needle for me was to get to the gym. But then there's a question of like, oh, I don't want to pay for a membership right now, and all this blah 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 blah, and I don't even know what to do when I'm at the gym, and all this stuff. No, stop. Get to the gym. Get to the gym. And so each and every day for a significant amount of time, my whole intention, my whole focus in my life was making sure I got to the gym. That was it. I wasn't doing meal planning and going to the gym and having this fitness routine and all that. No, get to the gym. And so I would show up and I'm kind of looking around and I'm seeing what other people are doing and I'm feeling what's called to me. And then I would get on the elliptical. Okay, cool. So hammering away on that elliptical. And I did that for like months. I lift a little weights or whatever, but I would hit that elliptical. And I actually liked it and I started enjoying it. And guess what? I started eating better. Not right away, because actually when I started working out and burning a lot of calories, my body was kind of freaking out and I was just shoving my face with even more food. And I just had this knowing though, this is the dragon. For right here and right now, this is it. And so I kept at it. I kept at it. And soon enough, I started, seeing changes in my body. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I can start to shift behaviors around my food as well. So I started shifting behaviors there. And then I was naturally more thirsty during the day. So I'm hammering more water. And I wear myself out where I'm not so stressed and, got all this anxiety and energy built up in my body. I could sleep better at night. So that was my domino habit. But like I said, your dragon is a little bit different. And there's certain things in life that once you master, there's these little micro shifts that happen that sometimes things fall into place. But also when things start to align and fall into place, there's things that go haywire and you pick up bad habits or you do other things, right? But there's always going to be this one thing that's getting in your way. And chances are, and even me speaking about this, something's coming to mind. And if not, I invite you to toy with this a little bit, sit with it. What's the primary domino in your life that will unlock all the other dominoes? What's the thing that you're avoiding? What's the thing that you just haven't grasped yet? You're making it too hard. Or, you have certain beliefs around it. And even in 2020, like I fell back in this pattern. I was a new dad, big change in my life. And I literally had the worst time getting back in action. And I started eating bad again and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I can't go to the gym because, gyms are locked down and don't really want to go to the gym if people are in there and, with all that stuff flying around. But I couldn't figure it out. I was like, I've never really been able to just work out at home. Like I've just never done that. It was always the act of going somewhere and getting somewhere that was this most simplest form. So now I'm at home and I'm like, okay, I don't even know what to do. I don't have an elliptical. I did have a treadmill at the time, but I didn't really enjoy that. And so it took me like getting out of my way. And I always had this belief in mind that in order to, work out, you had to like break a sweat and bust yourself for an hour. And then I got to take a shower and then I'm going to be tired. And then I, might not get what I need to get done for the day. And then that's going to have the snowball effect of stress and pressure. There was just so much built up to it. And so there was certain things in my life that I didn't see before that moment that were holding me back. Certain beliefs, certain perspectives. And until you start to unlock those and approach and attack the things that are causing you the most buildup in your life, then you'll constantly have this buildup in your life. You'll have this pressure, you have this resistance. And so I invite you to go deep. And this isn't a conversation just of health or whatever, because a lot of times we're going to say, oh, I just need to be more confident. Okay, maybe. Let's dig there. What else is there? What's tied to that? What's possibly underneath that? As a coach, I'm always looking for the question underneath the question. If one of my clients or students ask me a question, and if I have this nudge, this sense that something else is there, chances are I'll get to their question, sure. But I'm going to dig a little bit deeper to make sure that we're not just glossing over something, to play safe, right? So I am going to get into a deeper conversation about taming your dragon. I'm going to keep this a little bit simple today so that way I can get some sleep and prepare for, taking care of the mist over the next few days, making sure she's in a good place after her surgery. And we'll go from there. And so I vow, you're hearing it here first, I vow to do a better job of preparing for these podcasts in a way where they're just rich with value. Because I love to flow. I love to just get on the mic and go and share what comes up, share my experiences, share from my heart. But also in knowing and taking a little bit more time to make sure I'm covering certain things for whatever topic that I'm talking about on the podcast. It's going to be that much more rich. It's going to be that more effective. It's going to be that much more powerful. So, brand new approach coming to the podcast very soon. And we'll kick that off with part 2 here in just a week, if you're listening to this when this is released. So, until then, check it out, dig a little bit. What is it, the thing that it's the slippery minnow you just can't seem to grasp? You can't seem to take hold of. It always slips out of your hands. You've tried to do it before and it slips out of your hands. And there's multiple dragons in our lives. And we want to be able to master a lot of them, right? But chances are there's one specific dragon in your life right here and right now that once you master it, so much more will open up for you and so much more will shift. So the time is now to be intentional about taming your dragon. And I'll leave it at that. So much love to you. I feel your heart. There's so much work to be done in this world. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves at times. Just take a breath and just know you're in the right place at the right time. Life is opening up for you because you know in your heart life is opening up for you. And at the same time, it takes a brand new approach. It takes doing things differently. It takes showing up in a new way. It takes digging deeper than you've ever dug before. Because I promise you, my friend, we're always going to have this moment in our life where we look back and we're either going to say, oh, shit. Or we're going to sit there grinning, knowing that we played a big game. We went after the dragons. We showed up. We led with courage. We led with our hearts. And we had a whole hell of a lot of fun. And we helped a lot of people. We changed some lives. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to grow. We're here to support each other. We're here to connect. We're here to love, laugh, and play. So play a little more, stand a little taller, walk with bigger steps. No longer be so afraid to ruffle feathers or step on toes. And that's going to be something that also could be a dragon for you. The need to be liked, the need to be safe, the need to control, right? So what is it for you? Identify it, come back for part 2, and we're going to go much deeper in this conversation. So get ready for that one. It's going to be a barn burner. So much love to you. Have a good rest of your day. And trust yourself. Trust that inner knowing. There's so many nudges that happen to you. You know the steps. You know the direction. You know what to do. But sometimes we just don't want to look that dragon in the eye. It's scary. But it doesn't have to be because we're scarier. We're stronger. We know how to play this game. So let's go change some lives. Let's go help some people. And until next time, lead with your heart because there's so many people stuck in their heads. And so when you can be the one blazing a trail with your heart, being courageous, showing up with love, caring deeply for those that you're here to impact, other people will take notice and your life and their life will change. So let's go do it. Much love to you, my friend. Talk soon.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Adam Kadu podcast. If you would take a moment to subscribe and click the bell icon so that way you get notified when future episodes air. Now, here's the thing. If you are looking for the show notes, you can find a link to those below. If you're looking for the handles of the guests that I've been interviewing, things of that nature, you'll find that here. And if there's anything else that stood out to you in the episode, or if there's anything I can do for you, please leave a comment below, or for sure message me on Instagram if you'd like, as I'm always looking to hear what's working well for you and what caught your interest about the Adam Kadu podcast. So, time to go, time to change the world, time to help more people. Are you ready? Let's go do this thing. The world needs more leaders. So thanks again for listening to the Adam Kadu podcast.